Is trained for the knockout. Doesn't always come. The funny thing is, if you actually thinking about knocking a guy out, usually it doesn't come. You always got to prepare for those 12 rounds, but the goal is to go out there and make sure he doesn't see the 12. Here we are again, huh? Look at what?
I'm slightly opening this way.
We're doing the weight a little bit different this time. We'll try and give you another Rolls.
I am slightly opening this way.
Only one Rolls Royce for you. Only one.
Just a pound.
Chris Eubank Jr. speaks out for the first time after seeing Conor Benn's noticeably bulked up physique. It's clear he's studying Benn's new size, analysing how it might affect the rematch. But Eubank knows muscle alone won't decide the outcome. Strategy, timing, and adaptability will. His focus remains on precision and preparation.
Plan will have his tactics, he'll have his team telling him what to do. None of it's going to work, but, you know, will he be able to implement some type of completely different fighting style to throw me off guard? I don't think so.
Eubank Jr. approaches this rematch with a renewed mentality. He understands that repetition breeds predictability, and Benn will be ready for old tactics. By adding unpredictability, Eubank aims to disrupt Benn's rhythm, test his composure, and expose weaknesses. It's a mental chess match where creativity meets experience in the art of elite-level preparation.
I wanted a new set of eyes on this fight. I didn't want to go in there with the same kind of game plan, and you know, we've got to throw some banana skins in there. We've got to catch this.
Eddie Hearn stresses the fine balance of age, experience, and endurance that defines boxing longevity. Eubank's previous war demanded everything, while Benn now looks sharper and more determined. Hearn's analysis highlights how both men must blend mental toughness with physical readiness, a clash of wisdom versus youthful hunger.
Chris Eubank, after that last fight, I think it took a lot out of him, and he is old in what he calls a young man's sport, so it's going to be interesting to see. But Conor Benn is dialed in, focused to execute a fantastic.
Bullmack observes that Eubank Jr. enters this bout with a refined confidence. He's fully aware of the heightened expectations this time. Yet, lessons from past fights have clearly shaped his mindset. The fusion of experience, mental focus, and tactical maturity could be what helps him stay composed and calculated under pressure.
Seen in previous fight what I had with him, that I say it's the confidence level that he have going into this fight.
Of course, obviously going into this fight, Eubank thought like he had a point to prove, obviously with the legacy of the fight, and then now everyone expects him kind of to win that.
Carl Frock dissects Eubank's evolution, noting that mindset alone isn't enough, execution matters. He recalls how Eubank's past flaws, like rushing and overexerting, proved costly. Frock predicts that controlling tempo and conserving energy will be critical. For Benn, managing the pace and forcing Eubank into smarter exchanges could decide the fight's direction across all 12 rounds. Johnny Nelson reminds that while Eubank has poured everything into his performances, Benn still holds unexplored potential. Nelson warns that overthinking and overreaching can sabotage both fighters. Benn, in particular, must balance aggression with composure. A single mistake could swing momentum, making mental sharpness as vital as physical strength.
Big fan of Chris and respect due, and I think Chris had probably given all that he had. Whereas Conor, I looked at Conor, thought, you got some more to give. My problem is you overcook it, you overthink it, and if you overthink it, what will happen is you'll make a mistake. And because if you give Chris time to breathe, to think, to box, he's going to beat you.
Eddie Hearn highlights the importance of Bullmack joining Eubank's camp, calling it a major statement of intent. This move reflects Eubank's willingness to evolve and take his craft to another level. With Bullmack's strategic influence and mental discipline, Eubank isn't treating this as routine. It's a career-defining opportunity to rewrite his narrative.
And he's brought in Eubank, one of the best trainers in the world. What does that tell you? Because he knows he's got to be better. If he's not better this time, he loses. And, you know, he's taking it seriously, and so he should.
Olau underscores how both fighters have evolved since their first meeting. Ben now understands Eubank's tendencies and has learned to exploit his vulnerabilities. This rematch isn't just about power, it's about intelligence, patience, and timing. With Eubank's experience clashing against Ben's newfound confidence, fans are set for a thrilling tactical war.
And sort of bigger guy won it. The rematch is going to be interesting, I think. He's now realised that I can hurt that fighter. I felt the other fighter's power. Next time, I know what's coming. I think he might even do better in the next one. I think he's got a shout to win it.
And Eubank's older.
I get these fights, but you do want to see Ben, can you kick on to try and win her?
Johnny Nelson suggests that Chris Eubank Jr. may have reached a plateau in certain aspects of his development. While Eubank's skill set remains strong, Nelson believes the improvements are now subtle rather than sweeping. This opens the door for Conor Benn, whose rapid growth and adaptability could give him an edge if he exploits those small gaps. Nelson's take reminds fans that boxing evolution isn't only about talent, it's about constant refinement. The tiniest adjustments could shift the balance of this rematch.
I saw no more improvement on what we've seen. And so in seeing that, I'm thinking the guys that are out there, you've got to, you know, I don't think that's there.
Duke McKenzie underscores that beyond the punches, this fight is a spectacle. From attendance to atmosphere, the energy surrounding Eubank Jr. versus Ben is massive. He explains that while the first bout delivered inside the ring, it also set a new standard for entertainment and fan engagement. That bar now adds pressure. Both fighters must not only perform technically but also deliver a moment that defines their careers. Mackenzie's perspective reminds us that world-class boxing is about skill, spectacle, and legacy combined.
Yeah, like I say, the fight wasn't a letdown because it was a good fight, but as an event, you won't get a better event than that, and they'll have to go some actually to surpass that, or even equal that. Let's just hope they get the same turnout in terms of the numbers. People going through the live gate and watching that fight, because it was a great event. There's no ifs, buts or maybes. You won't get world title fights that actually are a better event.
Duke McKenzie gives Eubank Jr. a psychological nod ahead of the rematch. He highlights that experience and composure can create an early mental advantage, especially against a smaller, less seasoned opponent. McKenzie points out that Ben didn't do enough in the previous fight to secure control, and that same hesitation could be costly again. For Eubank, using his mental toughness and tactical awareness to dictate the tempo might be the difference between dominance and defeat.
Right, you know what's going to happen. Yeah. I'd be shocked if Eubank loses. I don't really see that happening. Again, he's fighting a career-best welterweight. He knows that. From a psychological perspective, when you know you've got a smaller guy in front of you, you kind of start 2 or 3 rounds up in your own mind. So, like I say, when you look at the fight, it wasn't close enough to warrant a win for Ben. He didn't win it.
Adam Smith outlines how crucial this rematch is for Eubank Jr.'s career trajectory. A win could reignite his ambitions and validate his new training regime. Smith also notes Ben's confidence, built from proving he could go the distance last time. This fight, Smith explains, is not just physical, it's strategic and psychological. Eubank must adapt to Ben's momentum, while Ben must show he can sustain it. Every round will test their composure, intelligence, and willpower.
And I think Eubank Jr., if he gets this win, and there's a new lease of life maybe under Beaumat, 2026, maybe finally he could become a world champion. But he's got to get past Conor Benn first, and Conor Benn, not just hungry for revenge, he believes he can win this because of what happened first time round, because he went 12 rounds at middleweight, up in class, after a long layoff. Some people fancy Benn in this.
George Groves analyzes the psychological mountain Eubank Jr. must climb. Having already achieved major career highs, stadium headlines, marquee wins, maintaining hunger becomes the real challenge. Groves warns that chasing success without focus can be risky, especially with Ben's hunger and sharpness closing in. He suggests that if Eubank's motivation dips even slightly, Ben's drive could tip the scales. The mental and emotional stakes here might prove as decisive as any punch thrown.
I think maybe Conor Benn beats him. I think if I was Eubank, my point was at the time, I was like, mate, like you have just climbed your Everest. You've just headlined a stadium, you've beat what is now a rival, spectacular fashion in terms of getting the win with your dad by your side and all the hooting and hollering that went on amongst. You can't top that feeling. I don't begrudge you if you want to earn more money out of the sport, but be careful because you look way past his best.
Simon Jordan delivers a sharp critique of the media frenzy surrounding the rematch. He argues that the promotional narratives have overshadowed the fighter's craft, turning the build-up into more of a show than a sport. Jordan insists that fans refocus on skill, strategy, and preparation, the essence of boxing. His point hits home: amid the noise and hype, discipline and clarity will decide the outcome. Both Eubank Jr. and Benn must tune out distractions if they want to execute their game plans under the spotlight.
The fight now, because now it seems to be the conversations between Eddie Hearn and Chris Eubank Jr. I thought he was fighting Conor Benn. I thought that was the interesting fight side of things. And I'm tired of this. Listen, it was a good fight, and lots of people give it a lot of commendation.
Dave Allen draws attention to a critical factor: the weight and rehydration clauses. He warns that forcing Eubank Jr., a natural middleweight, to cut down too far could pose real risks, both physically and strategically. Meanwhile, Benn, though smaller, faces the challenge of capitalizing on this without overexerting. Allen's insight reveals how weight manipulation can alter stamina, power, and recovery, the invisible elements that often decide big fights. Fans should watch closely how each fighter's conditioning holds up under these strict limits.
But they're just not the same size. Rehydration clauses should not be a thing in boxing. I know IBF have a £10 morning after ruling, but it's just not safe. The term rehydration clause don't sound safe. Rehydration clause, just don't agree with it. Eubank's been up at super middleweight, and now they're going to drag him down to near light middleweight. I don't like it.
Teddy Atlas expands on Allen's point, breaking down how size and experience will shape the strategies at play. He explains that Eubank Jr., naturally larger and more seasoned at higher weights, will try to control range and leverage his strength. Benn, by contrast, must close the distance smartly and minimize damage. Atlas likens the dynamics to classic generational clashes, where size, craft, and intelligence intertwine. For Benn, success means discipline and calculated aggression. For Eubank, it's about using physical and mental edges to dominate.
My preview of this fight is the same as it would have been for the fathers. How unusual is that? So you got Benn, the smaller man, and then there's a hydration clause. He was a welterweight that he fought a few fights in middleweight. But Eubank's been a middleweight and super middleweight most of his career. So he is the guy to bring him. I see the fight as Benn having to get close without taking damage.
As the boxing world zeroes in on the rematch, the stakes couldn't be higher. It's no longer just Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn, it's a battle of legacy, intelligence, and will. Analysts from Adam Smith to Teddy Atlas agree, this fight is a mental and physical war. Benn's speed, Eubank's power, the weight clauses, and the mind games all intertwine to create a high-stakes chess match. Fans are already divided, debating who holds the real edge. One thing is CE.